Hi, and thanks for viewing this quick video on our latest published research on the effects of ocean acidification on Antarctic marine microbes. Ocean acidification, of course, is what happens when CO2 in the atmosphere is absorbed into seawater. Basically, the pH of the seawater drops and the oceans become a little more acidic. In this study at Davis Station in Antarctica, we incubated coastal seawater in 6 by 600 litre tanks across a range of CO2 concentrations, from those that we found in the ambient seawater just offshore to future CO2 concentrations. Our part of this study was to count the very smallest cells of the plankton, including the nano and pico-sized plankton and the prokaryotes, which you can generally consider as marine bacteria. These cells need a very special method called flow cytometry to count them because they are that small. Now, we ran this experiment 3 times from early to midsummer with 3 different communities of phytoplankton that changed as the sea ice melted and disappeared in the Bay of Davis. So, in each experiment, we saw similar results. We found that there was no effect of increasing CO2 on the tiny pico-sized phytoplankton and the marine bacteria up until 750 parts per million of CO2. But at higher concentrations of CO2, these cells increase dramatically in abundance. Now, this is not a new result, and other studies have found this as well. But until now, no one has worked out why this is so. What is unique about our study is that we appear to have found out why these cells do so well under higher CO2 concentrations. Firstly, we also counted the heterotrophic nanoflagellates, or the single-celled animals that eat the phytoplankton and the bacteria. We found that up to 750 parts per million of CO2, like the picophytoplankton and the bacteria, they were unaffected. But at higher concentrations, these single-celled heterotrophs decreased in abundance. So now it looks like we have the answer to why picophytoplankton do so well under very high CO2 concentrations. It's because those heterotrophic nanoflagellates, those single-celled animals that eat the phytoplankton, don't do well at high CO2 concentrations. They decrease dramatically in abundance at higher CO2. So they're not there to graze down those little cells. It's sort of like taking cows out of a paddock. The grass then has the chance to grow up in great abundance. In the same experiments, we found that the larger phytoplankton decreased in abundance with increasing CO2. And this also happened from around 750 parts per million. So what does this all mean? Firstly, appreciate that the fantastic diversity and abundance of Antarctic animals that we all love is dependent on the phytoplankton, either directly or indirectly as a food source. The simplest consequence to understand is that at higher CO2 concentrations, the microbes at the base of the food chain may become smaller in size, harder to gather and eat, and be less nutritional. Now, this could have dire effects on Antarctic wildlife as we know it. On the bright side, the marine microbes we studied were unaffected by CO2 up to 750 parts per million, a concentration predicted to occur around the year 2100. So, in the meantime, they may find ways of acclimating to the gradually increasing CO2, so it's not all dire bad news. Thanks so much for your interest, and thank you for listening. I'm Paul Thompson, and cheers for now.